Hi, this is Matt and Dave from understandinge.com, and in this video we'll be discussing the history of multi-channel software. So what will we be covering? Number one, we'll be looking at what is actually multi-channel software. We'll be looking at how it can help your business. We'll be looking at marketplace specific software, and we'll also be looking at when and why did multi-channel software start. We'll be looking at the first iteration and the second generation of software, and we'll also be having a nose at to see what the third generation is going to look like. So who are we? I'm Matthew Ogborn, and also in this video is Dave Furness. Now, Dave's worked in e-commerce for just over 5 years now. He originally worked for a consumer electronics company and then took them from just auctions to a business that turns over several £1 million per year.
And as we all know, Matt, but we'll give him an introduction anyway. Matt ran his own e-commerce business for 2 years. He worked for 2 software companies, MarketWorks and eSellerPro, who both will be mentioned in this video. He's also worked with several of the largest marketplace businesses in the UK and helped to launch the majorly successful Tesco outlet, who just happened to be one of my biggest competitors when I worked for the electronics company.
Cool. So
from rivals to friends, eh?
Indeed, indeed. So let's just jump in and have a look at what is multi-channel software. And really simply, it's software that allows, simplifies, or expedites the processes involved with selling online. They're either desktop or cloud-based software and allows one or more members of staff to manage multiple sales channels from one location instead of many. And what we mean by that is not going into eBay directly or into one eBay account, jumping into another eBay account, going off to Amazon, going off to your website and listing separately or collecting your orders. And some examples of this software would be software that allows you to upload products to eBay or Amazon. It would allow you to process orders from multiple sales channels in one order screen, and they would also allow, typically, they allow integrations with other parties such as accounting or couriers, as the case may be. So how can multi-channel software help your business? Well, me and Dave, when a business has fully implemented a multi-channel software solution, we've always seen the business experience a dramatic increase in sales. And again, the clause here, Dave, is that when they've fully
implemented. Yeah, I was just going to say that is a key one. Sometimes it can be a bit of a long road if you've got a complex business model, but once you've fully implemented and using the software as it was designed to be used, that's when the magic happens in my experience.
Exactly. And again, that's pretty much for any software provider for multi-channel on there. Okay. And some examples of the tasks where the software can help you is the big one is automating repetitive tasks. So that's feedback, that's stock control, order notifications, and so on and so forth.
Dispatch emails and all this mundane stuff.
Exactly. So instead of doing it manually, they can help automate it for you. The second one is they can help you manage your orders into a single location. And what I mean by location, it could be a screen on your computer, either in a browser or in some desktop-based software. Another big one actually is, again, sorry, more from my history from eSellerPro, is that generally when a business migrates to using software, they do increase the quality of their data. So that's the quality of their product data, their titles, their descriptions, and the way it's formatted. And that generally equals more sales.
I think it also makes it much easier to make things uniform when everything's in one location. You can easily refer to previous listings or on other marketplace channels and make your data much more uniform, looks a little bit more professional. I think that, again, helps more sales.
Oh, absolutely. And we're trying to keep this as generic as possible. You could go off in a wild one. You can go off into templating systems. So you could have postage templates. You can have eBay listing templates. You can have profiles. It, again, depends on the software in question, but generally, better quality data and better management of data. I think that's probably what we should have mentioned there. Another big one is that you're able to adapt to change more quickly. And again, at the time we're recording this, we've just had the updates from eBay, so that you've got new requirements to become a top-rated seller, and you're able to change to an ever-changing marketplace or scenario much more quickly, because all your data is separated out into the relevant places, and it means you can do things like bulk update, you can change your template, and then you can revise your live listings on eBay, or you can update Amazon, and so on and so forth. And it also allows you to focus on expanding your business, because you're not doing the mundane tasks, having to email each customer, which you may have been doing right back in the beginning. The software can automate that for you, so you can still have a personal approach, but those tasks are automated for you, and that allows you to have more time. And I've never known a business owner go and take the day off for it now instead, because they're saving all this time. Generally, they'll go and look for more product. They're going to get better pricing. They'll go to expand their business. They'll work on their business for more. And of course, that's where the business expediates, and that's where we normally see a dramatic increase in sales. It's because you've just freed the key person or persons in the business, and they migrate forward. So is that fair, Dave?
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. As soon as, it's the old saying that we've said a million times before, you stop working for your business and start working on your business. And as soon as you give the main guy that freedom, then the magic happens.
Absolutely. So let's have a look at some marketplace specific software. And I'm sure you've all heard of these ones before. So TurboLister, Selling Manager, Platform, File Exchange, they're all the common marketplace specific software. So they're owned and they're maintained by the marketplace directly. And again, in this case, it's eBay. Two which you may not have heard of is, number one is the Seller Desktop by Amazon. So that's a desktop piece of software which you can use to list onto Amazon. And another one which is a Java-based application called the Amazon Transport Utility, MTU, which basically means you can drag and drop your upload files for Amazon locally on your computer. The marketplace-specific software are owned by the marketplaces themselves, not third parties. Go on, Dave.
I was just going to say, I think this is where software all began, was they looked at the software that was available from eBay, from Amazon to help people list. And then they looked at where it sort of fell down or where it wasn't quite as good as it could be. And that's where, as we'll see in a minute, the first generation of software sort of came from.
Yeah, exactly. So just to move the slides on now. So that basically it came from the needs of business owners want to be able to manage their marketplaces more efficiently. So that means they're able to list more efficiently, to work from Excel, for example, or work from a database. And this all kind of kicked off around about 1998, 1999. So it's been around for at least a decade now. But the common theme for first generation specifically is that they were all one marketplace only, which then leads us on to the first generation of multi-channel software. So they were typically one marketplace only. So they were only eBay or they were only Amazon. And we've got some examples which we'll share with you in a moment. So if we pick on InkFrog, for example, they started back in 1999. And there may have been one or other just before then, but that's probably the best example which I can give you. Mm-hmm. And very well-known one is Channel Advisor. That started way back in 2001. As well. And a couple of examples of first generation software. So these are softwares which just did a single marketplace only. So they only did eBay or they only did Amazon. And the first couple of examples of Channel Advisor is an obvious one. MarketWorks, which is a company which I used to work for, which was then later bought by Channel Advisor, Optiva, and InkFrog, some good examples for eBay. And for Amazon, the best example is A-Man Pro. It is still a fantastic product to this day. If you're selling media products, so books, CDs, and DVDs, it's absolutely brilliant for Amazon, but it only really does Amazon, and that kicked off in 2002.
And that was probably back in the days when Amazon was purely books, DVDs, and those types of products.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we had then is second generation multi-channel software. And the big thing there is that this didn't come around for a good 6 or 7 years. And this has only really kicked off in about 2007, 2008. And this is where the software companies started to add multiple sales channels. So they started to add not only just eBay or Amazon, they started to add both into their software products. And of course, when Play came around, which was much later on, and again, additional websites. And actually, Channel Advisor is worth a note because they had Yahoo stores in Yahoo auctions way back when.
Oh, wow.
They've gone now. So Channel Advisor was second generation way before everybody else in there. And with these second generation products, they allow you to massively automate the processes. Again, we touched on that a few moments ago, being able to manage your orders in bulk from a single screen. You're able to email customers in bulk. You're able to list in bulk. I mean, you're not doing one-on-one tasks. So you're not going to the eBay sell your item form and typing all the details. You're working from a database structure and you're able to list in bulk. You're able to process your orders from multiple sources. So not only one eBay account, 2 eBay accounts, from Amazon, from Play, from your website, or manual orders or telephone orders which are coming in. That you can manage your orders from a single location. Of course, if you're managing your orders from a single location, you then get stock control. in key as well, so that you know that if you sold 10 on eBay, then, oh sorry, you sold one on eBay, then you've only got 9 left, and or you sell another one on the phone, that you can keep the sales channels up to date. And of course, some of these integrations or multi-channel software products, they have integrations with third parties such as Sage for accounting, or couriers, or reporting tools, so you can then manage your business better for it. And some first generation software evolved into second generation. And an example of that is Channel Advisor. They migrated from just being eBay only, and they migrated in including Amazon. Some of them haven't migrated. So we checked up on InkFrog earlier, and they've just stayed on eBay, haven't they?
They're still happy just plugging eBay, yeah.
Exactly, and they're just firmly sat in first generation, which is what they know, and that's where they're staying. Whereas others, they have migrated into second generation. Now,
if I was a betting man, I would imagine that in around 2007, 2008, more and more businesses realised that Amazon was a third-party marketplace where they could list and sell their own products. If they were already selling on eBay, it just made sense for them to ask Channel Advisor or whichever service provider they were using if they had an option to use Amazon as well. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that's where it came from, the influx of people moving onto Amazon around 2007, 2008.
Absolutely, and again, the larger sellers by that time, they got bedded in on Amazon, then wanted to do eBay, and they wanted to do the website, and they wanted to do Play, for example. And again, it's going back to where did this software come from? It came from the needs of the business owners to be able to basically sell everywhere, but to make as much as possible. Now, when it comes to the multi-channel software itself, that typically you don't own the software. They're all pretty much leased, or you rent the software from a third party. And second generation software is generally worked out in one of two ways. The first way is by monthly subscription. So that's like fixed price. So for example, we'll pick on Seller Express, for example. So on the highest tier that you'd be paying about £300 plus VAT, or if we pick on StoreFeeder, for example, there would be like a fixed price of £400 plus VAT, and you can have a subscription-based model like that. Now, some of the other ones, such as Channel Advisor and eSeller Pro, they both start around about £600 per month, and then 1 to 2% of sell. And again, whichever is higher. So if you sell X £1,000 and those 1% or that percentage of sell goes over the £600, then you end up paying them more. And again, I'm thinking of a couple of businesses which I work with. Some of their bills are 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 and more per month just for their multi-channel software. And there are others out there as well. So Monsoon, for example, they work out about 4% of sell on there. And Nimworks, that's another example of a fixed price piece of software. So it's a fixed price which you can go through. That kind of leads us on to third generation software. We've seen where the marketplaces themselves have been created software for their own marketplaces. The third-party companies and developers have been expanded that on. We had the first generation come through, which just did one marketplace very, very well. And again, we're using Frog as the example there. Then the second generation came on where there were more marketplaces available. There was more of a desire for websites. And some of those providers migrated from first to second generation. And these second generation companies are quite expensive in there. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're good. But they migrated and they can be quite expensive. So me and Dave have basically got a vision of what this third generation multi-channel software is going to look like in the future. And that's what we're going to share with you right now, which is that our vision of the future of multi-channel e-commerce software is going to be a hybrid of both free and paid for open source software that allows multi-channel business owners to be able to pick and choose the tools that suit their businesses both now and the future. And I think that's the key. It's going to be a hybrid. It's that there's no one right route anymore. It's going to be a combination. And there's a key word in here called open source. And that does make things work a little bit differently. And we'll be explaining that in part 2. In part 2, the third generation. So we'll be showing you what the third generation will look like. We'll show you how the third generation will differ from the second generation. We'll also ask the question, will second generation software providers migrate to the third generation? In fact, is it even possible for them to do that? And ultimately, what that means for you. From myself, Matt Ogborn, and Dave Furness, thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this video. Part 2, where we cover the third generation, will be out in a couple of days. and you can find out more about me, Dave, and also Understanding E, and this vision which we've got for third generation software at understandinge.com. Thank you ever so much for watching.
See you soon.
Bye.